Hey guys, welcome. We were doing a live Q&A tonight, Brenlie and I, but no one was able to join live. So we've got a few questions prepped and ready, and then we're just going to kind of chat about, some of the stuff that we went through as brand new coaches and things that maybe we haven't covered in the training or that we think would be really extra helpful for you guys. So we'll also talk about coach etiquette, which was one of the things we wanted to talk about and post in the group today. And then we also have a couple other things, just kind of random miscellaneous stuff. So anyway, we'll just jump right into this. So first question, and I talked about this a little bit on Monday, but I get this all the time. How can I do this business? How can I run this business if I have only an hour a day or less than that? And Brenlie, I'll let you answer it first, and then I'll answer and kind of fill in. So go for it.
Okay, that sounds good. So one of the things that I learned early on was that you have to set business hours. That was one thing that I heard early on when I became a coach, and one of their biggest tip was turn off the notifications on your phone. And I'm sure you're thinking like, oh, no, I could never turn them off. But let me tell you what, it is so, what's the word?
Freeing.
Freeing, yes, it's so freeing because constantly, as you progress and you talk to more people, you're going to hear a ding, ding, ding constantly because people are going to be responding to you and you're going to be, having multiple conversations at the same time. So honestly, it was one of the best things I could ever do because honestly, my husband was sick and tired of hearing my phone blow up. So turn off your notifications, set your business hours, and make it so that you can be present with your family, be present at your job, do the things you need to do first and foremost, but also run a business as an entrepreneur. So set those business hours, and when you sit down to work, you are there to work. You are going to get your work done. Your time is going to be focused, intense time, like we talked about the other night. So, and that's honestly one of the best things you can do, and that will help you stay on track. So you're not just like spinning your wheels scrolling through Facebook. I have X, Y, Z to do. I'm going to get in there and do it and then be done. And then you can, watch a half-hour TV or whatever, do the other things that you want to do and still run your business.
I love it. So one thing that I listened to a lot of other team calls during the week and like the National Wake Up Call. I cannot for the life of me remember who said this, but it really resonated with me. And they said they actually focus more on setting, they have a hard time sticking to business hours. And I have found that to be really challenging for myself. But they set time that they are not going to work on their business. And I thought that was a really interesting kind of reversal of setting business hours. It's essentially the same thing. But for me, I know when I get home from my full-time job, I am with my family from 4 to 8. Maybe I'll scroll through Facebook as if I were not working my business, just kind of checking on things, but I try not to. I really try to put the phone down, but from 4 to 8, it's not business time. And then outside of that, it's pockets here and there, and hopefully I can maybe get an hour or two at night, but that's one thing that's really helped me is to say, okay, during these hours, I'm not going to work my business because I think we're all very passionate about this, and we could all probably work this business all day, every day. So sometimes it can help too. Okay, awesome. The next question I had, I feel weird about cold messaging people and asking them to join my challenge group. What do I do? Brenlie, I'll let you go. I'm getting hit by the sun too, which is awesome. Okay. And I don't have blinds either, so.
The sun's completely gone here, so I don't even have to deal with that. I would say that a lot of times, I did a lot of cold messaging within the first couple months of being a coach. And what I found was that I was not very successful at that. Cold messaging for me, I think people understand your personality. And if you're just reaching out to them as a cold message, sometimes it feels salesy. And I know that there are some coaches that's all they do is cold message people and they have, good results with that. But for me, it did not work very well. I got 0 responses and I sent a crap ton of messages. And then I felt later, I was like, gosh, I feel really terrible because that's just not me. So figure out who you are, get solid in that, and then determine if, hey, people are used to, me just, hey, what are you doing? Just out of the blue, cold messaging them. Or if you're the type of person that kind of needs to let somebody warm up to you, again if you haven't talked to them in a while. And that's more of what I do. I'll message it, like, just, I think it was just last Friday, I just messaged a bunch of people and I was like, hey, hope you have a great day. You know, thinking about you, hope you have a great day. And everyone wrote back, oh, that was really nice. Like, thanks. Like, hope you have a great day too. So I'm in their mind, but it's not related to anything business-wise or anything at all. So I'm just keeping that connection that, like, hey, you're on my mind. I'm thinking about you. And genuinely, I do. Like, I'm always like, oh, I saw that picture. You know, I liked it and commented, but I just want to send them something personal, you know, and a lot of this business is keeping that connection with people. You know, virtually we lose that connection, and just by messaging them and saying, hey, how you doing? Just what's up? I saw that picture. Like, that's super cool. That y'all went to the park as a family or whatever it was. It could be anything. That brings it back to keeping relationships personal and keeping them engaged. So, you know, you can kind of be methodical about that if you want. So it's not a specific cold message. And what I mean by that is be like, okay, so this month, like, I have my, you know, 30, 50 people, or just for the week that you want to talk to. And just slowly throughout the week, just try to keep an ongoing conversation with them so that over time, most likely they'll ask you about what you're doing. Hey, I saw that Beachbody thing. Like, oh, you're looking great. Oh, thanks. And then it kind of opens that door. So you can talk more about Beachbody without it being a cold message, if that makes sense. That's kind of what I do. And I've had a lot better response with that instead of just, hey, do you want to join my challenge group? But what's crazy is that my coach reached out to me and said, hey, I'm doing this thing. You want to join my challenge group? I was like, yeah, sure. So, you know, it worked for her, but it didn't necessarily work for me. So it's all about what you're comfortable with. And so, yeah, that's what I would say. Laura?
Am I frozen on your side?
Yeah, you're frozen.
Okay, you're frozen on my side too. Well, at least I can hear you. We'll keep going. Maybe it's recording normal. Uh-oh, I lost you. Uh-oh. You're back. Okay.
Still recording?
Yep, we're still recording.
Okay.
And I can see your face now.
Okay.
Well, that was a great response, and I think kind of the overarching theme of what you're talking about is being authentic and finding what resonates with you, because that's what people will be drawn to. I personally have a really hard time reaching out to people and not, like, doing it very, this is gonna make me sound really bad, but like reaching out just to see how someone's doing. Now, like, I like to think that I'm a nice person and I like to know how people are doing, and I genuinely care about people, like, especially, you know, people that I'm close with. But because I know that, like, on some level, my intention is I hope that they will see my Facebook and they'll ask me about Beachbody. For me, it's really hard to feel genuine when I'm reaching out. So, you know, I decided pretty early on, I'm just going to cut to the chase and tell people, like, hey, I'm reaching out to you. Like, I'm so excited to see all of these things that have been going on with you and your family, or you've gotten married or had kids, whatever, you know, put in a personal touch. And then I just cut straight to it. I'm like, I'm doing these challenge groups. I love it. It's been so much fun. And I kind of talk about it. I'm like, do you have any interest in joining me? And then it's like, I don't feel as bad because it's not like a hidden intention of mine. It's something I'm working on, because I do really truly need to, like, be genuine and just reach out to people to reach out and reconnect, without the intention being Beachbody. But I think right now I've been so focused on my business that it's been hard to, like, pull back from that. So it's something I'm working on, but also that feels more authentic to me to just kind of, like, come out with it. And I've had decent results with it. So if I was having zero results, then it obviously wouldn't be working for my market. But I think, like what Brenlie, you were saying, like, people know my personality. And so I think it kind of, like, fits more for me to be like, hey, I'm doing this. What are you doing? And it's less salesy and more like, I'm super excited, you know, because that's just,
yeah, that's great.
Anyway, I think these are great questions because we both have such different experiences and everyone can relate to one of us, I think. So.
Yeah, and I agree, because I think that, you know, what works for one is not going to work for someone else possibly. But that's what's great about this business is you're the coach, you're the CEO, you get to decide how you want to run your business. And what works for you, if it's not even what either one of us do, great, you know, like be you, like Laura said, you know, be authentic, be you, because that's what people are going to resonate with, and they're going to know that you're being truthful to who you are, you know? So, I mean, maybe I sound bad now because I have a hidden agenda the whole time. I'm like,
No, I don't think so.
no, really. I mean, you know what? But I mean, that's how, because then I don't feel so awkward. So to relieve the awkwardness for me in the initial, you know, phase of just like contacting somebody, you know, and honestly, I think that over time, you'll figure out what works, you know, and it's just about trying something and be like, well, that didn't work out so well, you know, let me try something else. So it's a trial and error thing.
Okay, what if I don't have a transformation myself? I'm new in this business. I just started. Like, that can be really hard and really intimidating. Like, what did you do when you first started? Did you have a big transformation before you became a coach?
No, I didn't. When I became a coach the day I signed up. so my whole journey was, I'm a coach, I'm a challenger, like from both sides of, you know, of that. So, but you know what, even if you don't have, if you can't see anything on the outside of what has changed, you know how you feel on the inside. So, and a lot of times, like for me, that outweighed everything else. Like I could have stayed the same weight and known inside that I felt 100 times better, you know, just mentally. I was able to play with my kids without feeling like anxious and stressed about, you know, what I looked like. And, you know, I'm sitting here on the floor with my kids and like the rolls were piling over, you know, like, and it wasn't that bad, of course, but I mean, you know, but even if it is, like, I didn't care about that as much because I knew I was working towards something else. And I think it's, you know, a lot about what we talk about is the process. It's about the process. You know, no, it's not going to happen overnight. And if that's what people expect, this is not the company for them, you know, because it's a lifestyle change and it's something long-term. So, you know, like when I look at myself from now, you know, from a year ago to now, I'm way different, but it's not all on the outside. Like, sure, I've lost a few pounds and that's great, you know, because I feel better, my clothes fit better, but it's more about inside and who I've grown to be now. So what about you?
I would say, so I still have quite a bit of weight to lose. And when I started, I gained like 75 pounds in my pregnancy. And okay, granted, if all of you don't know, I had twins, so I feel a little bit like justified in being healthy. And my doctor never had a problem with it. Had a very healthy pregnancy, but it was all in my belly. So I thought, this weight's gonna come right off. So after like 4 months, when I had lost about 30 pounds, like really fast, and I was just stuck at 180. And so at like 5 months postpartum, I'm like, okay, I need to do something. So for me, I hadn't been eating well. I had been totally not taking care of my body. So I had like within the first 2 weeks, I think I lost like 11 pounds. It went poof, you know, like right off.
That's awesome.
So I kind of had I definitely had a transformation, and it was easy to show like, hey, 2 weeks into this program and look what's happened to me. So I had a great February, like tons of people bought challenge packs when they saw that. But, you know, my progress in weight loss has slowed, like a lot. I think I'm stuck around like 160, right? So I'm not even 20 pounds down from 6 months ago. And for me, I'm good at like 135. So I still have a lot of weight to lose. But what I would say is if like anyone can have amazing results those first couple weeks that you're in a program, if you like really dig in and you're following your plan like to the T. I have gals that have joined my challenge groups they're little and they just want to get like ripped using 21 Day Fix, and they do. So I would say if you're feeling like I just started, I don't have this great transformation, I would suggest like really dig in, you know, pick your program, stick to it, vital behaviors all the way, and you will have a transformation even in just a few weeks. You'll have something to show on the outside because let's be honest, right? Social media, like that's typically what people are drawn to very quickly. So if you're wanting to like take off with this very fast, that would be my biggest suggestion. But again, to Brenlie's point, like it's not all about the physical, the external, you know, changes. It is so much more that's internal and how you're changing and developing as a coach and just as a mom and a wife and just a human. So
Yeah.
These are my questions. So if you have any, we'll go for that.
I was just gonna say one more thing to your what was I gonna say? Oh, and that also goes back to like being a product of the product, because if you're saying I'm drinking Shakeology every day, I feel great, like, and you're losing weight at the same time, it all goes hand in hand. And it's, even if you use the performance line, which I love, while everybody was getting busy on the boost, I was like, I'm over here with the performance line, and I swear by it. I know it makes a huge difference. So if you're not familiar with that, definitely check that out, because it's awesome and it's worth it. So be a product of the product, and that really that speaks volumes to people.
It really does. Do you have any other questions that you can think of?
I think just one thing I wanted to touch on really quickly was the tracking system. If you're still trying to keep, it's important to keep track of who you're talking to, and what your results are from talking to them, or when you should, if they said, oh, not this month, but maybe next month, then you can, follow up with them in the following month. So I do everything through an Excel spreadsheet. And I think Laura does the same thing, or she uses a different program.
Yeah, I use Streak, which I can talk about that in a second.
Yeah. So, and even some of the top coaches today, 15-star diamond, uses paper and, pen and paper. So it's up to you. I have to see things like written down. So a lot of times I'll write it down and then I'll put it into, my spreadsheet and keep track of it that way. But just find out what works best. If you're feeling crazy because you've got pages and pages and you have no idea who you talk to, maybe put it on, on the computer, even in like a Word document or something, somewhere where you can like write lots of notes. And, but one thing about an Excel spreadsheet is that you can filter it, like if you put in columns for, we last talked in March, so you can filter and just say, okay, who did I talk to in March? And then you can say, oh, okay, it's April or May. Now I should follow up with them again. So it makes it a lot easier to kind of keep track of everybody. But Laura, what do you use Streak?
So I use Streak. It is like a Chrome add-in for Google Chrome, and you use it through Gmail. So the way that it's set up, it's like different, they call them pipelines. And so for me, like I have one that's for prospects. I have like my current challengers, previous challengers, and then people I'm following up with. And so like one thing that's really cool with Streak, and similar like to your Excel spreadsheet, you kind of track like, when did I last talk to them? And you can make it really customized. I think this is really helpful if you are like hitting the ground running and you are messaging like 30 people a day, you're really in there. Like I love pen and paper, but I love Streak more. So I'm kind of obsessed with it a little bit. But one thing that you can do is like, you can do email, like mass mail merges. So if I want to email every single previous challenger that I have, I can do that in like one fell swoop and just hit all of them and say, hey, do you guys want to join my next challenge group? Or do you have anyone looking to join a challenge group? Whatever it is, Same thing, like if you are able to collect email addresses from people, like as you're following up with them, then you can hit them with some follow-up emails. I think there's a lot to it that I haven't even explored, but one thing I'm working on now, like I have a lot of Facebook friends. I've reached out to a lot of them, probably about 80% of them. But one thing you can do is actually download your friends list. And then I've dropped it into an Excel spreadsheet, and I'm working on like uploading that into my Streak. So then you can actually have like a set up leads section, or not leads, but like people I still need to talk to that I haven't reached out to yet. And then it's like, that's just like one less step. I don't have to like go scroll through my friends list of who I haven't talked to yet. If you guys want more like information about Streak, let me know. There's tons of YouTube videos, and that's actually how I found it. So you can just go Google it or YouTube, search it, whatever. So anyway, it's called Streak, Streak. That's all I got on that one.
Yeah, no, that's good. I started using Streak too. I just have to keep going with it. I'm still working on like
upload the CSV files. I was like, my life just changed. Right.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Cool. Okay. So one thing, kind of moving on past like the Q&A stuff, we had planned to talk today about like coach etiquette. And Brenlie, I kind of want to get your feedback on this, but these are kind of the things I like wrote down when I was thinking about coach etiquette and like, what does that mean? And to me, that really means like, how do we treat other coaches? And we're a part of this huge community of people and coaches. And it's things like, you know, stealing posts. Let's just call it what it is, right? Like stealing other coaches' posts and passing them off as your own, or stealing customers. You know, maybe they've previously worked with another coach and they want to switch over to you or whatever. And then in general, like supporting other coaches and how we can best do that. I'll talk really briefly on the stealing post thing, just because that's kind of fresh in my mind. I've had a couple experiences recently with that. There is a very big difference to me in straight up like stealing a post and making it your own. And I think you can ask any top coach, any coach really in general, and said, hey, if I use something similar, like if I worded my post similar to how you worded it, would that be okay? Totally fine. I would have no problem with that. Even if someone asked me like, hey, I loved your post, would it be okay if I like copied and pasted it? I'd probably be like, yeah, it's cool, but like, could you change a couple words? You know, like make it yours. I have had coaches just straight take posts, like copy and paste, word for word, took my image, like cropped out my logo. To me, huge no-no. I would hope that no one on our team would do that, because we're all unique. We are unique people and we are creative, and it's just totally not kosher to steal other people's stuff. I love like Brittany Leggett, Bonnie Engel, Janelle Summers, like, I mean, Lindsay Matway, like I love these women, and do their posts inspire the heck out of me? Absolutely. And do I kind of try and like format my posts similar to theirs? Yes. Like they're obviously successful, something's working. But I can honestly say I have never stolen a post. And I really just encourage everyone here, if you've ever thought like, ooh, that was a really good one, I'm just going to copy and paste, like just take a second look at it, you know, internalize it and figure out like, how can you make it yours? Brenlie, do you want to talk about that at all?
I would just say, like, just furthering your point, you know, even like sometimes like what I'll do if I see something that I'm like, oh my gosh, like that is like, that's really great. Like her point was awesome. I'll write it down, you know, on paper or put it in my phone, and I'll leave it for a later date. And then I'll come back, because by that time I've forgotten every word, you know, or maybe not the idea, you know, I'll remember the idea, but I won't remember every word they said. So then I'll say, okay, based on this idea, now what are my thoughts? Like what, you know, coming from me, what would I say? And that's kind of what I do. You know, if I see something like really inspiring like that, I'll just wait a couple days, and then, you know, go forward with that. But like Laura said, you know, I think if you ever get your post stolen, like, you know, it's really not a fun feeling. It's really, you know, because you're proud of the ideas that you come up with, and you're really, you know, you want to be yourself, and you want to, you know, pride yourself in coming up with your own ideas. So when somebody steals it, like, it's kind of heartbreaking. You're like, I worked so hard. I mean, like I had somebody steal like straight up image like of me, like, you know, I mean, it was kind of far away and I was like jumping in the air, but I mean, it was me, you know, when I saw it, I was like, are you serious? Like, I cannot even believe, like, so, you know, just, yeah, like Laura said, like, if you're on our team, like, we have, you know, higher standards than that. And we, you know, really encourage you to be yourself and do the things that, you know, I mean, you know, based on the honor system, you know, like it's all about, just being who you are. And if you're constantly copying, you know, from other coaches and stuff, that's not you, that's them. So you really have to be yourself, you know, it's just not, you know, and even if you do it for a little while, it's not going to last, you know, and then people are going to see, they're going to know the difference between like your posts and something that you've copied and pasted from somewhere else. So just, you know, like Laura said, be authentic.
I don't think those top coaches got that way by taking other people's posts. Like they are unique people. These women are so creative and they're so smart, and like I just like strive so much to be like them, but I'm not trying to be them. Like I'm still me. I still want to be, I want my name up there in the top 5, not someone else's with my picture. Like how weird would that be, right? as far as stealing customers, this one's kind of hard in some ways because, I've had people that I've reached out to that say, I'm working with a coach, or my friend does it. That's really common, right? Oh, my friend's a Beachbody coach. Okay, cool. Please purchase from them, work with them. Happy to hear it. And then I put them straight into my do not contact little section in Streak. And I'll revisit that every now and again. Truly, I might revisit it in a year. Are you still friends with them? If you're not, that's one thing. But I don't want to ever be associated with taking someone's customer. It is 2 challenge points, you guys. That's it. Go find someone else. Go for it, Brenlie. I know you want to.
You're drop the mic. So, and I think, I back Laura 100% in that. And I think that, and you may find a time where somebody will say, my coach was totally not supportive. They dropped off the face of the earth and I want a coach, and so if they reach out to you, hey, by all means, give them the support they deserve, because one of my coaches now, she was like, I don't even know what happened to my coach. And now I got passed on to somebody else's, so either they probably dropped out of the company and they're not a coach anymore. So, they went up to their upline, but, so in those circumstances, yeah, I think it's okay. I think that's an okay time, a good time to do that. But,
and that's having a discussion too, right? Are they still an active coach? And you just maybe don't agree with them, or did something happen? That's a time for you to dig in and really find out, because again, if you were on the other side of that, that's what I come back to every time. It's well, what if I have a challenger who isn't talking to me, but I'm actively posting in my challenge group, and she decides to go somewhere else? Oh, that's awesome.
Decline.
FaceTime. If she decided to go somewhere else, I would be heartbroken. But that's because, I want to know what's going on. Now, 9 times out of 10, maybe even 99 out of 100 times, that's not going to be the case. Their coach is not supportive. But I definitely encourage all of you, if you have that come up and you feel uncomfortable at all, talk to Brenlie, talk to me. That's what we're here to do, to support you as your upline.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Supporting other coaches. Do you want to talk about this first?
I can, yeah. I mean, I think that, I think part of that is,
Sorry.
That's a huge gallon of water. Okay, don't laugh and spit it out.
Almost did.
Sorry. I think a lot of that is just, so sometimes you'll see coaches that, have joined after you and they're just rocking it and they're gaining rank and they're just, and you're trying, but maybe, you're not seeing as much success so quickly as they are. And so you kind of sometimes, you might feel a little bit bitter, how come it's working for her and not for me? And then you kind of feel uneasy about that. And so, sometimes you might be meh, I don't care, meh. But don't be like that. I think it's really important to be and that comes with personal growth. Be happy for them, because it's showing you that it's what's possible in this business and that you can do it too. Dig deeper, do some more personal development, get another workout in, and work harder. You have to push. And obviously, if they're succeeding quickly, they're doing all of those things. So be supportive. If we post in, our team page, hey, welcome this new coach, hit a like button, put a welcome message in there. It just shows the more engaged, we are for each other, supporting each other, that new coach is going to see, wow, they're really engaged. They're all really supportive. And then it's just passing that on to all the other coaches that join our team. And we want a strong team. We know that all of our team members are very, driven, or you wouldn't be here. There's a reason why you joined us, and we want to support you. And, we hope that will just, pass down and carry on, for all the coaches that you help. Laura?
Sorry, my window, it looks out at our backyard, and my husband's doing something weird. I don't know what he's doing. So it freaked me out for a second. I'm who's this man in my backyard? As exactly like you said, there was a coach who signed up right around the same time as me. And we saw very similar success at the very beginning. And it was like, I'm very competitive, if you don't already know that about me. And I was like, I gotta get more challenge points, success club points than her this month. And while I did win, that didn't set me up for success long term. In fact, if anything, it made me more bitter those first couple months when her team grew faster. Yeah, maybe I sold more challenge packs, but I wasn't recruiting as well. And, there's something that I have to learn from her. And that was when I kind of flipped that switch. There was no bitterness. It was like true excitement for her and her growing business. I come back to this a lot in my mind. Like, there is no shortage of customers and future coaches for your team. There are 4 million births every year. Half of those are women. And so every year that means there are 2 million women in America turning 18 and could be a potential coach for you. It's kind of mind blowing when you think of it in those terms. So don't be bitter. There's no scarcity here. There's so much abundance. There are so many people that, are available and eventually will be ready to join you and your team. So put your blinders on. I love that you said that, Brenlie, because that's exactly what you need to do. Be supportive of other people and their business, because eventually they'll be supportive of you, and it's just like such a good harmony and karma and all that. But don't let their success stop you from being successful yourself. Like, what they do is their thing, what you do is yours, and very rarely do those meet. So I love that. Do you want to talk about spouse support a little bit?
Yeah, I will.
I can talk about the ultra supportive spouse. And I can't remember how, I know Ray is supportive, but, and I know that you've had coaches that have not had that experience. So you can probably talk to that a little better than I can.
Yeah, I think that, sometimes our spouses may not understand how much we love this business and how deep of a desire we have to really help people. And sometimes, if you have a husband or a boyfriend, you may relate to this, but
or girlfriend.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not judging, whoever it is, whoever's in the group that's they're supporting you, they may not see your vision. And so I think that the one thing that's key in this is communication. You have to communicate with them. Tell them, these are my goals. This is where I see this business taking me. For me personally, I want to be a work at home mom. There's nothing more that I want than to be able to take my kids to school, come home and work, be able to pick them up in car line, or go to their field trips, or just be there at lunch just to have lunch with them because I can. That's where I see myself long term, but sometimes our visions don't really translate well, when you're kind of in the moment, you see, you're like, okay, so here's where we are right now. And you kind of feel stuck. And so your spouse may be like, no, you're always going to have to work a job. We can't be without 2 incomes. What they don't see though, is this job, this opportunity, this gift that we have is so much more than just a job. It can take you to wherever you want to go. If there is any time to dream, it is now. Dream big, and be hungry. Be hungry to succeed. And with that, you, like I said, you just have to keep an open line of communication with your spouse. And I think that there was a time where my husband wasn't so fond of this business because I was spending a lot of time doing it. But that was not, yes, he, got upset with me over that, but that was not his fault. That was my fault for not setting boundaries and not setting, business hours, really. Yeah. So, or setting non-business hours like Laura suggested, because that way you can be present where you need to be present. I was working when the kids were about, in bed, and we were just chilling, I was constantly working, and he was like, you always have that phone in your hand, put it down. And I was like, what are you talking about? This is my business, But then I realized I'm not being fair to him. You know, I have to be able to say, okay, I'm working on my business. Okay, now it's time for you and you and I need to spend time together and doing whatever, whether we're watching TV, doing nothing, or going out on date night or whatever that may be. So really, like if you find yourself, you know, like, oh, I'm struggling, you know, or my spouse doesn't want me to do this for, you know, money reasons or whatever, or time, you know, sit down and talk to them. Be like, this is why this is important to me. You know, they most likely have something that is important to them, you know, that's something personal that gives them personal satisfaction. And you can just share with them, hey, this is my thing. You know, this is what I want to do. And, you know, during XYZ hours, like that's what I'm going to do while you kind of do your thing. And that's okay. You know, just communicate, you know, and if you need to reach out, like, please, you know, let us know if you need, you know, if you're struggling or if you don't know how to handle something, like, let us know, because we've probably been through it.
Yeah.
So
you can get your buy-in from your spouse, like get them bought into whatever your long-term goal is, right? Like Brenlie's goal is to be a work-from-home mom. If she can get her spouse on board with that same idea, and you know, that takes a little bit of sales skills, let's just be honest here. It's got to kind of be their idea a little bit, like, right, how can you spin it so that this is like best for the family, or whatever you need to do. But like the second that I got my husband bought in to what I was doing and my goals, like there's never been stress about me coming down to the office to work, because I can't, like you were saying, I can't sit in bed next to him and work, because then he's like afraid to talk to me because he's like, oh, you're working. I'm like, I'm just scrolling through Instagram, not working. You know, we couldn't even talk to each other. So I had to like come down to my office. Those are my work time. But because he's bought into the vision of what this can be, it's okay. He's fine with it. So I think you're so spot on, Brenlie. And if you guys need support, like your husbands or spouses or wives or whatever are having a hard time seeing your vision, like I'm more than happy to get my husband on a call with them to talk about why they're concerned. You know, there could be an issue that your spouse isn't sharing with you. Like maybe they're afraid that you're going to outgrow them. That happens a lot. I think there are a lot of men in particular that are worried their wives will be more successful than they will. And it's something that you absolutely have to address before you're going to be able to be that successful. You'll never reach it without your spouse's support. So that's kind of the mic drop on that one.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. You're right. We've come a long way since that point. So
yeah, well, and I think we all go through these like ebbs and flows of things working really well, and then all of a sudden, like the same exact thing is now not working, and having to reevaluate. So don't feel like you're alone if your spouse is not on board with this. We've all been there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's everything I had. Do you have anything else, Brenlie?
I don't think so. I just want to say, you know, we're so glad that all of you are here with us, and we are super, super excited about Storm Dynasty, and we just can't wait to grow our teams and you to grow your teams, because, you know, we're here to support you. So whatever you need, if you need us to call you and be like, did you do your power hour? You know, if you just can't quite get going, like, hey, we'd be more than happy to, you know, because even us, you know, even we need accountability too sometimes.
Well, we have each other, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, really, like, if you need anything at all, like, reach out to us. You know, even like there's no stupid question, only the one you don't ask. So, you know, reach out and, you know, really like reach out to people next to you. You know, if there's somebody on Laura's team that, you know, you think might know, or if you see they're online, you know, message them, ask them. That's just a good way to get, you know, familiar with talking to people that you don't really know, but, you know, you want to get to know them. So just branch out and, you know, like I said, be hungry. Like Laura said, there's no shortage of people out there. So, you know, always just strive to keep networking, and yeah. So, okay.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Have a great night. And we're so excited to wrap this up, but post in Storm Dynasty, post your new coaches, your questions, and we'll have another meeting in a couple weeks. Okay, bye.